Good evening, everyone. So let's start today's session. Yesterday I given you people some of these equation to solve uh, from your end. So so if you're able to solve, well and good. Okay. So if somebody is not able to try it and didn't get any time to solve these things, okay. So I'll be showing you one of these examples. So I'll show you some shortcuts among like how we can solve this kind of trigonometrical equations. Okay, so let's see here. So I'm with the first example. So I'm going to take this third example. So let me take this example number 3. Okay, so where I need to prove that RHS is equal to LHS. I need to prove here RHS is equal to LHS. Making it a little bigger. No. So first thing. So what is the first thing required here? So let me start here with. Okay. So Darshan. So tell me what is required here in the RHS side in the third equation. What? Which block is required then first? Which block I need to take? Sine wave block I need to take. How many blocks are required? One. Okay, and one more copy of this one. Okay, so how do we get sine square of x? So how do we get the sine square of x? Sine square of x means sine into sine, you will get square, right? So you need to multiply these two blocks, sine into sine. So multiplication, go to math operation, and here we are going to take the product block. Okay, so here is the product, take this product block. Okay. And then you will get a final output. Okay, to see the output you will take the, go to sinks and take scope block. Here is the, so now selecting these two blocks and connecting them to the product, and the output of the product block will go to the oscilloscope block. Okay, so totally, so we have this setup. Now let me change this parameter settings to 1 second, and here this one should be, frequency should be what, 2 into pi, to get it in terms of hertz. And here the frequency is 2 star pi star 1. Okay, and if you simulate this you will get the RHS side of the output. So let me do this. So this is the output you are getting. Okay, sine into sine, sine square of x. Okay, so you will get a 2 hertz signal. So almost. Any question on this one? How to get this? How do we got it? So there are the other methods also there. You can use some other blocks also. Instead of product, you can use some other blocks to get the sine square of x. Okay, you can do the mathematical operation like power operator, you can use it. Okay, so using that also you can get the similar output. Yeah, frequency, yeah, only frequency is 1 hertz, so I'm setting it as a 1 hertz only. So since yeah, yeah, 2 pi into 1. Yeah, for both should be same, sir. Okay, okay. The RHS side, LHS side. So now we are going to complete, we are going to, so this is LHS and this is your RHS. So LHS is done, RHS will do it. 1 minus cos of 2x. I require 1. So let me take the 1. So from where I can get 1? Darshan. from where we can generate the constant value 1. Sources are math operation. Under sources you can get the constant. Okay, so no need to change this value since we need the value as 1, so we got that value. So then how to get cos? How do we get the cos? So it's a copy of the sine wave, change the frequency, change the phase shift it by 90 degree. Okay, so yesterday we shown how to phase shift it, right? So let's do the phase shifting. So open this block. Okay, phase shift by 90 degree to make it as a cos, that is, so pi divided by 2, phase shift is done. And what is the frequency unit? Cos of 2x. Already x is there, that is 2 star pi is there, so we need to multiply this with the, again with the 2 into 2 pi, because it is a cos of 2x. Okay, so now we built 1 and cos of 2x is completed. Okay, so let us see. Okay, so now what is next required? So I need to subtract cos of 2x with 1. Okay, so how to do that one? Again go here, math operation, you can take the addition block, drag and drop it here, connect here and connect this block here. So but now it is 1 plus cos of 2x. To make it as 1 minus, double click on the add block. Okay, you can change the sign here. So first one should be plus and second one should be minus. Second one should be minus. So then apply and okay. So now you can see here plus and minus. So this will be negated and this will be here positive. Okay. So now you have made 1 minus cos of 2x. Okay. So result of this one should be divided by 2. So, yes sir. We can use we can use that, we can use that also sir, we can use that also. Okay, fine. So next we will divide this by 2. Okay, so go to the divide block. Okay, so you have a divide block, drag and drop here. So here this is the multiplicand value, that means this is going to be numerator, and in denominator we should have a 2. Okay, so again we need a constant block. I'm making copy over here, changing the value of that one to 2 and okay. So then connect it here. So you will get the 1 minus cos of 2x, here it is coming and this is getting divided by 2. So then you need to see the output. So connect it here. Now run the simulation. So I'm getting this output here. So this is another oscilloscope. So now totally you have 2 outputs. Okay, so both outputs are same, that means we have proved that LHS is equal to your RHS. Any questions on this one? Where? Here in division, or in the here, right? See, it will get multiplied, so that means this will go to the numerator part. So you need to divide this value divided by 2, right? 1 minus cos of 2x, you need to keep it. It is like a will be multiplied, okay, and b will be divided. Okay, that means it is going to be a divided by b. Okay, here you are getting the a term, consider, and this is the b term you are consider. Okay, so this will make what? It will be a divided by b. If you want to make b divided by a, you need to connect this b line to the multiplication symbol and a line to the division symbol. Okay, fine. Any other doubts? Yes, you can solve it. Yeah, you can solve as many models you can want, you can create it, sir, here. So there is no end to that. Okay. So fine. So this is one example. Okay. So please try other examples if you're not able to complete it. Okay. Okay. So let me show you the same model. I'm going to save as, okay, model 5 simplified. Okay. I'm going to make a simplified model. Let's see how we are going to. So this I don't need. So anyways, let me take only this example. So you can select the block and you can drag them wherever you like to have it. Okay. So now I'm going to simplify this model. Okay. So now you have sine into sine, right? That is making a sine square of x. Okay. Here what I can do is I can remove this block, one of the sine wave block, and I can disconnect this connection. Next what? So what is this signal is coming? You know that electrical signal. How do you make the parallel connection? I can draw a line from here and connect it again back to here. So that means, so there are two signals which are coming as sine. So now you are doing what? Same, sine into sine only you are doing it. So if you're having any question, let me know regarding this. You can draw a parallel lines like this from wherever you want. Okay. So this is one way of drawing the parallel line. That is, this is reverse connection. Okay. I'm connecting from this end to this end. Okay. So another alternate way to connect is, so if you want to draw a extra line from this one, you can select that line, you can hold the control button and draw the line from wherever you like to. Okay, so this is how I can draw it. This way also I can make the connection. So both will give the same result. So now I'm getting the same result. You can see this. Okay. So and one more thing. So I don't require two scope to see the both the result. We know that in MATLAB when we had multiple signals to be plotted, so we can create a subplots, right? Similarly here also we can create a subplot. Okay. So what I can do is double click on scope. Okay. So go to the parameters here in oscilloscope, parameters. So here number of axis option is there. Make it 2. Okay. So then apply. So then say OK. So you will be able to get 2 axes. Okay. I have connected already one of them here. So let's connect this output here, so that you can easily check the result, final result. Automatic comparison you can do it. You can see here, I'll just auto scale it. See both the results are coming same. See that, so we reduce the model, right? So earlier it was looking little bit bigger. Okay, still again I'll reduce it something here, somewhat here. Okay. See now I need to divide this incoming output with the 2, right? So instead I can remove this divide block. Okay. So what I'll do is I will take here the math operation, the gain block. I am going to take it, gain block, and drag and drop it here. So what this will do is, so this will actually multiply the incoming signal. Okay, whatever the input signal is there, so this will just simply straight away multiply with the constant value. Say like if your constant value is 2, this signal will multiply this with the 2. So that means this equation is going to become as 2 into 1 minus cos of 2x. Okay, but what I need is 1 divided by 2 I need it. So let's multiply this with the 1 divided by 2. Okay, so let's do that. You'll get a final output which is also same as previously whatever we got. Same result, no changes in the result. So now model has been little bit reduced. So any questions in this? Rakshita, have any questions? Sajid? Okay. Reshma, you late join. Okay, no problem. Harish sir, have any question? Fine, fine. Okay, so let's move on with some other options here. Okay, see, here I'm going to show you about, like, here we saw, so connecting multiple, apart from modeling this equation, we also learned connecting multiple signals to same scope. Okay, so we saw how to draw a parallel line from same signal. Okay, so these are like your electrical signals. Okay, electrical wires, you can make a serial connections, and you can make a parallel connections like this. You can draw as many connections you like to have it. Okay, from this point. Okay, you can draw as many signals you like to have it. All these are parallel connection, which the red color means they are not connected anywhere, so they are showing in a red color, no connectivity. Okay. So now, so I want to label these things. Okay, this is the name, right? Product. Okay, so if you want to change this name sine to cos, what you will do, you will change it as cos wave. Okay, but I want to get the labels coming on the oscilloscope. I want to see here LHS and RHS. So to do that, you can go here to the parameters. Okay, and you can enable the legends. You can enable the legends, and you can see the bottom axis ticks labels are there. If you want to change them to the both the axis, you can change them here. Okay, all axis, and then apply. Okay, you can see here it is showing the product and gain here. What is the outcome it's showing is basically the last block, whatever the name of the last previous block is there. Okay, so that name it is showing as a signal name. Here, if I write something here, this is going to be considered as what comments are naming. Say like here I'll write LHS, and here I'll write RHS. What is this? Will it show this on the your signal? No, right? So it's showing here whatever the name of this signal is. So if you want to name this line, okay, particular line, if you want to name it, so what you can do is you can select the line and double click on that line. Then if you name it LHS, so it is actually the name given to this line. Okay, you can move here. So this will be always considered for this line only. Okay, you cannot edit it straight away. So select this line and double click, and you can name that line RHS. So now if I'm running it, the same names appears here: LHS, RHS, LHS and RHS. That's how we can control the labeling. Okay. So labeling the signals. To name that, what you do is select line and double click on the line to name it. Fine. So that's some introduction about these signals. Any queries? No queries? So we'll move on to the next examples set. So like if we have a signal generated in MATLAB. Okay, so let me show you. I have this signal. I have this signal which I am going to generate it in MATLAB. Okay, so let me generate here the MATLAB signal. Okay, so t equal to 0 colon 1 by 100 colon 1. Okay, and f is equal to 3 hertz, and then what I'll do is y is equal to sine of 2 star pi star f star t, right? Now plot of t comma y. So let me say this one. 3, 2. So I'm running this code, which will do what? So it is displaying a 3 hertz signal for me. Okay. Now I want to generate a sine wave in Simulink using this data available here in this workspace. I don't want to use the sine wave block. It is not about just a sine wave block. This example is about transferring the data available in the MATLAB to the Simulink. Okay. How to transfer data from MATLAB to Simulink. Okay. So this is the example regarding that. To transfer this one, we can read the data available from the MATLAB workspace. The data should be available in the workspace like this. Okay. So here clear all CLC. I'm running it. Okay. So let's see how we can generate that one. Okay. I don't this figure, just a data is required. So in order to do this to take this data to the Simulink, so I'll be going here sources. Okay, here from workspace, this block I need to capture it. Okay, take this block from workspace, and then you will take sync blocks and a scope block to display that output. Okay. Here what you are going to mention it here. So that is the question here. So transferring the data from MATLAB to Simulink. Okay. To transfer the data, it should be available in workspace. Okay. So that's it. That is the only condition. Okay. Sim input. This is the function name, block set name. Double click on it. So here it is asking you to enter the variables which you need to transfer it. Okay. In order to plot the signal, what are the outputs, what are the inputs are required here. So what are the blocks I need it. Let me ask a question here. Okay. So Rakshita, to plot the signal, what are the parameters required here? Whether I need f, t, y, all the three are required, or only two are. So what are the variables required here? How many of them required? Only t and y is sufficient, because here I'm just going to do the plotting, nothing else. Okay. If you want to do the operation, you can transfer all the three variables, right? So here, go to this and double click on this sim in. Okay. So you can transfer the variables t comma y. Okay. So t comma y will be the inputs to the scope block, but they should be in a single array. Okay. To make them in a single array, you will put them in a square bracket. Okay. So apply and click OK. Next, run this simulation. So what is the simulation time we had taken here? Rakshita? So what is the time duration we had taken? What is the time duration we had taken? 1 over 100 is the step size we had taken. Can you see? We have taken it from 0 to 1 second. That means our simulation should stop at 1 second only, right? It should be stopping at 1 second. Okay. So then click run here. and then double click over here to check the output. Okay, so let me simulate it once and see the output. If I auto scale it, so you can see this output. So is it looking like a sine wave or not, Rakshita? So then what is the problem here? So the main problem here is, okay, so if you are looking at the signals inside your Simulink, so they will generate the signals in a column. The data will be available in the column factor. You can see that. So this is T out is the variable from the Simulink, and this variable is taken the data in the one column and multiple rows. But when we generated in the MATLAB, okay, so we have given the data in a one row itself and multiple columns. Okay, so we need to transpose this data. That means we need to bring the data into a single column in order to plot it in the plot it inside the Simulink. So only for the plotting purpose we need to transfer it. Okay, so that is, so we need to transpose the data. That is, we need to write, so y is equal to y transpose and t is equal to t transpose. Either we can do it here, so this is the transpose operator, or you can do the transpose operation inside the simin block itself. Okay. So I'll do it here itself. T transpose, comma y transpose. Okay. So then apply and click OK. So now if you run it and click OK, you can see the output, final output. Okay. So here, so is your final output. Is that correct, Rakshita? So tell me why. So why we need to do the transpose operation here? Row wise. Okay, so we need the data in the column wise. Okay, and that means in a single column we need the data, column by column. So but in MATLAB it is in a single row format, right? So we need to, for that purpose we need to transpose it. See here, so this is in a one column, this is a column. Simulink expects the data to be in a column wise, so but here the data is in a multiple columns. That means it is in a single row. Okay, so when I write t comma y, you are actually making what, 1 comma 200 columns. That means in a single row you are providing the input, so that doesn't makes you the perfect plot here. Okay, so fine. Next, Aishwarya. Fine, so we'll do the reverse now. Okay, so that means, so let's generate a signal in Simulink. Okay, so we'll do the how to transfer data from Simulink to MATLAB. Wait a minute, let me save this model 6 underscore MATLAB. Create new model. How to transfer data from Simulink to MATLAB. So let me take a simple sine wave block. So let me have a scope block and then sine wave block to do the plotting. So let's see whether we'll be able to generate the signal or not. Frequency 1 Hertz. So let us multiply it by 2 pi and then apply and OK. So let me run it for 1 second. So we got this sine wave as a output. Okay. Save 7 underscore MATLAB Simulink to MATLAB. So I'll show you, this is the first method, method 1, using scope parameters, that is data logging. So how to change the Simulink scope properties, Aishwarya? To change any properties, what you will do first, you need to double click on the then go to the parameters. Okay. So what are the options here available? General. Okay. So you should go to the history here. Okay. See, you have this option. Can you see this? What is this option? Okay, just click on that. So what is the way, which data you want to save it? So how many signals are there in your axis? One or two? Only one. So then you can change the variable name which you want. Okay, say like I'll take the name as sine. Okay, or I'll take it as y. Yes, that is y from the Simulink. Okay. Data formats. What are the formats available? Tell me. Array. Okay, then array. So array, if you are using it, okay, if you use array format, it will store only the signal. That means sine wave samples will be stored. Okay, it will not store the time axis. It will not store the time axis. But if you take structure, it will store the time axis. It will store only the signal axis. It will also. But structure with the time means it will store the time as well as and the data points also. But what is the difference between structure and array? See, array you can use it only when you have a only one axis. When you have a only one axis, you can use the array format. But if you are having more than one axis, you cannot use the array format. You should go to the structure format. Okay. So tell me when to use the structure and when to use the array format. We can use the array. Yeah, we can use the array. That is optional. Okay. So structure. Okay, that is mandatory. Now I can use either structure or array. Okay. So let me go with the array format. Okay. So apply and click OK. So now just you need to just simulate it. Only that settings you're done. Okay. So save it. Either it will be available in data logging option. In the latest version it is called as data logging, and other version it is in the history. Data logging or history. So now as soon as you click on run, okay, you can go back to your MATLAB workspace and you can check. You will be having a variable with the name ys will be there. You can see that, which was not there earlier. When I take an array format, it has stored both time axis as well as the your y axis, that is your sine wave samples. Clear, Aishwarya? So now we have transferred this. Okay, now tell me how I can use this data to plot the sine wave. So now let me plot the signal. Okay, plot the data collected from Simulink. Yeah. So tell me how can I plot it? Plot of T, you cannot write it, right? T is the data is available in only in ys variable. It is ys variable. Okay. What is ys first column? Ys. How do you read the first column only? Tell me. You remember indexing? Huh. Y ys of how many rows are there? Can you see? No, rows. Okay, that means I need how many rows? All the rows in the x axis. Okay, And in X side, which column I need, first column or second column? No, X axis is first axis, first column. Okay, comma ys of 1 minute colon comma 2, this is your second axis. Okay. So just do this plot, that's it. So if you need, you can just make use of the empty figure. You got that same sine wave. So it is not about plotting the sine wave, it is just the way I was telling you people. So how to collect the data from Simulink to MATLAB to Simulink. Okay. Other way of taking this x-axis is you have a t out variable which is also equivalent to ys of first column, because it is also having the same output, right? So you can use this also inside your x-axis. Say I can remove this and I can write t out also. So both are same. So this will also give me the same result. Anything can be done. Okay. Or yes, yes sir. This is column number 1 sir, all the elements in the column 1 and all the elements in the column 2, because your ys, so this is your x-axis data, that is your time samples, and this is your sine wave samples. Okay, so I plotted, this is very much equivalent to like plotting like t comma y, first column comma second column. You can straight away plot it, you can straight away say like you can plot figure of like this is for empty figure, plot of ys can also be done. So but what happens is it plots the one column for the sine wave and another column it takes it as a straight line. This is for your t axis. So normally what happens in the MATLAB means, if you are writing, if I'm writing plot of magic of 4, each column will be considered as one data. Okay, so then how many samples are available in magic of 4 in each column? Magic of 4 means how many columns will be available. So in each column you have a 4 samples, so it plots the 1 to 4 as your x-axis, and for each data it plots one signal. So similar, same thing is happening when I did this one plot of ys. It considers it is having a 2 samples. First column is first kind of data, second column is another data. So you had total 51 samples. So what it made is it considers total 50 samples, 0 to 50 samples, and it plots the output. So so that's the confusions you will get it. Okay, when you directly plot it as a like this plot of is. Okay, don't get confused. So you need to specify what is your x-axis and what is your y-axis. Fine. So that is one way we can do it, and another way I'm going to tell you here. One second. So this is one example, another one. So let's say, so this is only when we have a scope block. Say consider I don't have a scope block. In that case what you will do? Say like I have another block coming in between. Let's say like math operation block is there. Okay. Let me add a simple gain block. So this is with a gain value of 5. Now Adarsh, now tell me how can I get this out data transfer to the MATLAB? So if I transferring using the scope block, what happens? I get final output, right? Like if I open it here, if I'm going to the parameters and history, here ys1 automatically it renamed it as a ys1. Okay, then apply. So then if you're running it, you'll be actually able to get the final output, that is ys1, which is a multiplication of multiplied by value of 5, so that you can have that multiply maximum value going up to 4.22. So but what I want is, I want to get only this before this operation. What is the output? I want to collect that samples. How do you get it? So do I need to connect one more scope block for that? So that is not feasible, right? That is not a good idea to connect a scope block unnecessarily wherever you need. Okay, simply for sake of collecting the data. Uh, so if you start connecting the scope blocks, what will happen is, so it eats extra time because it has to plot it and then it will store it. Okay, so that's the extra time consuming task. To avoid that kind of things, if you want to collect the data, you have a, just like we had a sim in block here from workspace block, we have a two workspace block also is there. Okay, so let's see that. Sources, now sinks to workspace, there is a sim out block, so that I can take it. Say either if you don't have a scope block, you can directly connect it here also. Okay, so but now I want to connect it in between. Let me connect it in between. Okay, so this is, so using sim out block, not sim out, it is to workspace block to collect, to send data to MATLAB workspace. Okay. If you want, you can change the variable name. Say like I can select it as a YW. Okay. Here also you can choose the formats which you like to have it. I'll select it in a array format. So then applying it and then OK. Run the simulation. So you have YW variable which collected your samples. Y sample. So this is before you compute the multiplication of, that is gain operation. So this is after doing the gain operation, this data. So this is using scope block and this is using from workspace block. So clear? Others? Any questions? No. Fine. So let us see. Pardon, sir? No, I set that value as a gain as 5, sir. I set that value. Just to put insert some in between blocks, I taken this as a example. Okay, I wanted to show the use case of your two workspace block. So either you can connect two workspace block at the end of the simulation, or say example I want to collect the data in between somewhere. Okay, so example you have a multiple blocks here, maybe like some 20 blocks connected. You wanted the output of the maybe like 15th block output, you wanted to see it. Okay, so that you wanted in the MATLAB. Okay, then how to collect it? So one way is, better way to use that is two workspace block. So I shown this example for that purpose. So any questions, sir? Fine, fine. Okay. So anybody else having any questions on this? Okay, let's move on to the next example case. So let me show you one simple how we can generate a multiple frequency outputs using a sine wave block. So I have a sine scope block and I have a source block. So where I taken your sine wave block, connection done. not give spacings when you are using the file name. So here I'm generating these signals up to 1 second, and I'm changing the going to the signal model configuration parameters. Step size I'm changing it as 0.01. I'm making it instead of normally will be 0.02, right? So now I'm generating it is like 1 by 100. Okay, so I'm generating more number of samples here. Apply and OK. Step size is 0.01 I taken. So now if I generate this with the 2 pi frequency as 2 star pi star 3, what is the frequency of output signal? So what is the frequency of the output signal? Mamata ma'am. So what is the output of this signal, ma'am? 2 pi into 3. What is the expected output? So it's going to be 3 hertz signal, right? So we have got a 3 hertz signal. So now it has generated a one signal which is having a frequency of 3 hertz. Okay. Say like you want to generate more signals. Okay. So that also you can do it. How? Here I write it square bracket, okay, comma, okay, I write it 2 star pi star 5, comma 2 star pi star 1. So here I'll be getting total 3, 5 and 1 hertz signal. Total 3 signals will be generated. Apply and OK. So you should write it in a square bracket in a matrix format. So if you run it, so you will get a 3 signals as output. You can see that. So they have different colors marked. Okay, so fine. This is how you can generate a multiple signals in a using same single block. Instead of having multiple sine wave blocks, we can generate it using one simple sine wave block. Generate multiple signals with single sine wave block. Okay, so fine. So that's how we are able to generate it. Now, okay. Next, shoe. Now show in this one line how many signals are getting transmitted. So how do you extract the 3 signals individually? I want to separate them out. Now they, if you are looking at the plot, so they are in a single plot, right? I want to plot them in a one axis, individual axis, like where I want to have a 3 different axes. I want to see all the 3 different signals. Like what is that operation? Now what they in a single line you have total 3 signals getting transmitted. Okay. What is this? Now I want to separate them. How do you separate it? So what is the operation you perform normally when you want to separate the signals which are which are combined? You have a particular there is an operation name, you call that operation. Anybody can guess the operation? No sir, no, subplot is for plotting sir, but now signals are in one signal, you have one line, you had 3 signals getting transmitted. I want to separate them. So now 3 signals are combined, we want to separate it. So what is that operation? No, sir. So there is one simple operation which we can think on. So people, Rohit, can you try? Rohit. So now, Rohit. Yes, somebody answered it. Yes, madam. Yes, mux and demux. Very good. So you have the particular signals. Okay. So I have this one signal. Okay. So I want to split it into three outputs. Sorry, 1 minute. I want to split them into three outputs. So actually in this one line you have total three signals going on. Sorry, 1 minute. Right, in this itself you have so only okay. So three signals are there. Actually they you call this operation as multiplexing. Okay. So you call this operation as multiplexing. So multiplex, and then this operation is called as demultiplex, right? So here is that operation which gives rise to that next term. So total three signals we separate. Like let's do that here in Simulink. Okay. So I have this signal. So if you draw a line from here to here, you can connect it. So, but if you simply connecting it, it doesn't yields any new results to me. I need so same outputs only coming. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to perform a operation in between. I need to use a block called as multiplexer and demultiplexer. So here I need to use the demultiplexer because already signals are got multiplexed. So we are going to demultiplex that signals. So let's do it. So go here in the libraries, signal routing. Okay. So you have a merge, selector, switch block. Okay. Bus, mux block. Okay. Similarly, you have a demux block, which takes one input and gives multiple output. So draw a line from here to here. Or what is the other way of connecting the signals? So select this line, hold the control button and draw the line here. Okay. So how many outputs it has to yield? Currently default it is going to give two outputs. But how many outputs actually you have? How many outputs we have here? Three outputs are. So let's increase the number of outputs to 3. Okay. So let's do this operation. So now what I'll do is I'll select this block and click on this block. Automatically connection will happen. Okay. So let's run this operation. Now you will be able to see the all the three signals separately. You can see that. So this is a 3 Hz signal, 5 Hz, and this is going to be your 1 Hz signal. The scale is 0 to 1 scale. So if you like to add the axis to each one, so add the axis to all, like this one, tick labels, 0 to 1, 0 to 1, 0 to 1. If you like to name them, you can name them. So this will be based upon this input way, the signals will be splitted. First signal will be 3 Hz, second one will be 5 Hz, third one will be 1 Hz. Same way you have the split here. Okay. So now we saw how to generate multiple signals. Okay. So then use case of your demux block. Any questions here? Shu, have any question? Okay. So let's see here one more thing about this. Mm, second. So 1 second. So we are going to create a general model where, so we will see general example. So which this topics covers labeling, rotate, flip, operations. Okay. So let's 1 second. Fine. Here comes an example where I'll just drag and drop few signals here. Let me generate a few signals here. Like let me take a sine wave block, and I'm going to take a pulse generator. Instead of sine wave, I'm going to take a pulse generator, and I want to I'll show you pulse generator separately. So let's go with the simple sine wave itself. So, and I'm going to take a sources, sinks, scope block, and a signal routing not required. Let me take some math operation. So let me take a gain block, addition, sources. I'm taking a constant block here. Okay. So this is some random operation which we are performing it here. So I'm connecting these two blocks here, and this one here, and this one over here. Okay. So I want to see these two results output here. Okay, how to see this two results output? So this is going to be 1 plus cos of x, that is 2 star pi. Okay. So this operation I'm doing it for 1 second, and gain I'm taking it as a 2 hertz signal. Okay. So labeling already we discussed. You can go to the parameters and enable legends to get the labeling. Apply to get this. So to label, you will select the line and you will write it as a final output. Okay. So in between output I want to see it. So if you want to connect the scope block here itself, okay. So you want to see the output. You want to keep the scope block here only. Okay. How do you see that result? So for that, what you can do is you can flip this block. You can flip this block. Say like, or else I can rotate this block. So I can rotate it here, and I can connect this block over here itself directly. So to rotate, we can type. So two options are there. To rotate, so use Control plus R button. Okay, to rotate. And to flip, use Control plus I button. This is the shortcuts. Otherwise, you can right click on the block and you can go to the block. You can go to the parameters and you can say here block, one second, not here. Okay, here you have the option rotate and flip option. Okay, clockwise and counterclockwise, flip block and flip the block name. You can do that options. Okay, so like if I want to flip this name also, I can do that one. Okay, so control. So if you want, you can do that flipping of the name, rotate, flip the block name. So this came this side, so you're getting the result, same output you are getting, no changes in between output. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. Okay, so flip, say like I want to this labeling is done, rotation operation. I'll show you the flip operation. So let's say I want to connect this output block also here. So instead of here, I'm going to connect it here. Okay, so then what should I do? So I need to keep this flipped, like Control I will type it, so it will get flipped. Okay, so then where do you will connect this block? So this I need to connect it here, so rotate this. So that means connect this block from here to here. Okay, so and then finally connect your output block here. So there are many cases, like when the model complexity starts increasing, you will start using this kind of option, so that you can have a clear view on your block. Okay, so so this is the final output. Here it's coming. Let me keep drag and drop it here. Okay, so this is your in before output, so in between output. So let's run this simulation. Same output only we are getting it, no changes in the output. Here also again we are getting the same output. Fine. So this is how you can do the labeling. Okay, rotate, flip operations onto your block sets. So any of the blocks you like to have it, you can do this operation, labeling, rotate, flip and operation. So we actually use this in upcoming examples, in the upcoming classes. So any questions on this one? Flip, rotate, operation? Sajid? Okay, fine. So try to so solve this kind of operation, like try to change the view of your models and all, so that you will have a more control over the Simulink block sets. Okay, and making the modeling. Okay. So you can change the alignments like this. Okay, so you can drag, drop. Okay, so that's all these things you can control it, how we can select the line, how it gets connected. So you can squeeze that line. You can expand this block sets. So all these things you can do it, so that you can have a clear view on your signals. So let's, yes sir. Okay, thank you. Okay. Labeling, flip, rotate. So this is the so these are a few basics about your Simulink block sets. Okay, so let's move on to the new example case. Okay, so in this topic we are going to discuss about the subsystem and masking. We're going to discuss on the subsystem and masking here. So today I'm going to discuss about subsystem creation, and tomorrow we'll see about the masking operation, how to perform the masking on the block setup. So for that I need a model, okay, which I'm going to create it now. So let me before that, one more thing I just want to tell before I go to the subsystem. Yes, I'll tell that thing with the subsystem, so not an issue. So let me open the assignments. Okay, so let me try this model. Sine of 2x plus cos square of x minus 3 into cos of x whole divided by 4. Or let me take this example itself, which already we have modeled. Okay, so I'm going to consider this model itself. Okay, so let me build this model. I've taken the copy of this and I'm going to put up here. Give me a second. Okay, so now question is here, I have this block, right? I can actually provide this value for the constant value. Like I can write a variable as c, constant value as c, and here what is the frequency of this block? So what is this value? This is c2. Say like I return something like this, c1 and c2. Okay, this is c1 and c2. What are c1 and c1 are the constant values. So whether they are known parameters or unknown parameters as of now. As of now, Chetana. So, as of now, whether c1 and c2 are known parameters or unknown parameters. Currently they are unknown parameters, because if I run the simulation for 1 second, so I'll get that error because it doesn't understand the c1 variable and c2 variable, right? So what we can do is we can provide this c1 and c2 value from the MATLAB workspace. Okay, so that is the one option we can do it here in MATLAB. So we can give the variables, like if the variables are provided in the MATLAB workspace, so it can Simulink can easily read those variables, like c1 is equal to 1 and c2 is equal to 2 given it. Okay, so it automatically reads these two variables from the MATLAB workspace. Sorry, this is not required. Right, this one. So now if I'm running it, it doesn't throws any error now, and it's giving me the final output. Okay, so let me make only one scope block. So changing it to 2 axis. Okay, okay, so any other like what we can do is we can try it can read the data from MATLAB automatically. So that's what the one thing. Okay, so now Chetana, how many blocks are there totally here in the LH, on the top and bottom? How many blocks are there here? How many blocks are there this side? Here 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so what is this operation is doing? 1 minus cos of 2x. okay, whole divided by 2, right? So this is the operation this blocks is performing it. Okay, so now tell me, uh, if I had to repeat this operation somewhere else, what you will do? Yogesh? Yogesh? Yes? You can copy the. No, I'm not able to hear your voice. Okay, you can copy that block. Okay, fine, good. Ramya, so what you will do it? If I need this operation once again, say like I will perform, I'll increase this number of parameters, 2, 3. Okay, so what I need is, so I need to perform the one more operation. What is this? Currently this operation is sine square, sine square of x, you are making it, and you are also performing 1 minus cos of 2x whole divided by 2. So now what I want to do is, I want to do one more operation, 1 minus cos of 2x. Okay, this will get whole divided by 2. After doing this operation, I need one more operation to be performed on this one. So this is going to be this plus, say this is just an example case, okay? So plus, so you think that you are doing this operation continuously. So whole divided by 2 into 4. So now what you will do? You are going to copy this operation. Are you going to copy this operation? So what is the solution? Like Yogesh said, he will be copying it. Okay. So now Ramya, what you will do? So this is the repetition of the operation, right? The same operation is getting repeated. Same operation is getting repeated. Okay. So maybe like 3 times, 4 times it get repeats. So normally in MATLAB what we do when we have a repeated operation to be performed again and again with some minor changes. So what usually you will do? So I just want to do, instead of dividing it by 2, I want to do it divided by 4. Let's consider just simple operation. I want to do this operation, kind of this. Okay. So let's say here I'm putting this value as 1, again back to track 2. So when you have a repeated operation like this to be performed, again you are going to copy this, right? So what you actually were doing it, so you are changing the value from this one to 4. So what is actually it is doing, the operation is almost similar, blocks are same block set, same kind of operation. So but your model complexity is increasing, right? See that now how many blocks are there in single model itself? So we are getting the complexity of the blocks increasing. Okay, so model complexity increasing. Okay, how to reduce it? Like when you have a code complexity to be reduced, okay, how do you bring the modularity in your programming in MATLAB? So how do you bring the yeah, pardon? No, I'm asking you in MATLAB, okay, if you have a repeated operation to be performed, okay, so will you write the same program again and again, or you will find some other alternate solution is there? Yeah, what is that solution? When you have a repeated operation to be performed. Okay, so fine. Priya, can you guess? When you have a repeated operation of the same code, what usually we do? Priya, Rohit, Rohit. Yes, we will do the loop. Okay. Okay, fine. One answer. Okay. So now I'm not telling that it is the iterative process, repeated operation of the same thing at different instances. So then I cannot use the loop, right, Rohit? So yes, ma'am. Yeah. So normally what we do is we call the functions, right? So we put the same code in the form of function. Okay. Instead of writing the same code again and again, you'll just make a call to the same function with the changes, whatever. Like you can do the change parameters also. You can do the changes. Like you can give 3 at first instance and second instance. If you want to give the value as 4, 5, something else, you can do that one. Okay. So that's the so good thing about using the functions. Okay. Same way here. Okay, so in case of your Simulink block sets, when you want to perform the repeated operations again and again, okay, to reduce the complexity of the blocks, okay, so we can create a subsystem. We can go for the subsystem to reduce model complexity. We will use subsystems. Okay, so what that will bring us? Okay, so you have this block set which you want to bring it as a subsystem. Means what will happen is, so I'll select these blocks. Okay, and subsystem, and what you will do is you will also do the masking. So tomorrow I'll explain about masking. Okay, let me complete here about the subsystem today. So how do we do it? So just select the blocks you want to make it as a subsystem. Select these 4 blocks. So then right click here. Just create subsystem from the selection. You can see that. So now I'm doing this operation. Create subsystem from the selection. You can see here. So now if I had this block, okay, so just make use of this block once again. Just take a copy of this subsystem. Okay, instead of whole block, just take a copy of this block once again. Okay. Now you can, if you want, you can create this block in a separate block and you can add it to your library, and then you can call that block whenever you want it. Okay, so if you double click on this, it's showing what actually this operation is doing. It's doing the same operation. Okay, so it doesn't give any wrong results again. Okay, fine, run it. So you are actually getting the same output here, no changes. So but it has a reduced block. Okay, so at the front end it looks like the model is simple to us. So what is the advantage of creating a subsystem? Okay, it reduces the complexity. Okay, so we can easily debug the blocks. We can easily debug the blocks. That means if there is an error, so it shows which subsystem the error is there, so that I can go to inside the block and I can always check for the errors inside that block and correct that. Okay, so that is the one advantage of that one. So yes, somebody may be having any questions. Fine, sir. Okay, fine, fine. Okay, okay, fine. So that's about the subsystem. Any questions? Any questions on this one? No, fine. So even if you want to create a subsystem for this block, so select those blocks which you want to bring under the subsystem. Select these blocks. Now right click and create the subsystem. So you can name that. What is this block? So this is for the sine square of x, so that end user will get to know it, what is the operation you are performing it. And this operation is for 1 minus cos of 2x whole divided by 2. Like that you can start giving the names for the block sets. So that's about the creating the subsystem. Model 10 to creating subsystem. So now inside here you can change the parameters, like you can write C1 and I can write this as a C2, and say like here I'm writing the frequency F, frequency as F1. So this is for the cos, right? Frequency for cosine wave. Okay, and apply it. So if I run these things now, what will happen? Yes, say like error for which parameters expected error, C1, C2 or F. So already we have the parameters C1 and C2. For F it will show the error, because right, so it is throwing the error for the C1, lowercase c1, it is case sensitive, variables are case sensitive. And if I go here, C1, C2, okay, so I need to provide the C1 value, C2 value and F value, F equal to 1. So now you will be able to get the final output. So it is lowercase c2, okay, C2 is not there. C1 equal to 1, C2 equal to 2, and F is already there. So let's run the model. And FC it is, frequency variable name is FC. FC equal to 1 Hertz. So now I'm running it. So did you find comfortable doing this thing? Or going here and changing the parameters comfortable? Or setting these variables and changing the parameters in MATLAB is easier? Which one is comfortable? So direct is comfortable. But Ramya, I'll ask you one question. Okay. Direct is more comfortable than doing this, because in this method what happens is you need to remember all the variables, right? So you need to remember now I did some spelling mistake, the output didn't came, so I need to know all the variables. Okay, then only you can do the operation. Okay, so now if you have to go here and change the parameters, how many parameters you need to change here? 1, 2, 3, right? Here I have some parameters to change. Okay, so like this, how many parameters are there? 1, 2, and in here some parameters are there. Okay, so for that you need to get inside each and every subsystem. Is it comfortable for you like that? If you're changing it, say like you have some 10 subsystems are there, like if you're getting inside all the subsystem and try to change the parameters, so it's going to be a time consuming task. Okay, instead of that, when you double click here, sorry, when I double click on this sine wave block, it is asking me to change the parameters here itself, right? So like this option if I'm getting on the top of this block, if I double click, and it will ask me to change the frequency, whatever the important parameters are there. So if it is asking me instead of double clicking, so when instead of opening the block, if it is showing the parameter option to set it here itself, it becomes easier for me to change the parameters, right? So that kind of options we can provide it. So that will be done using the masking here. Okay, so that we will see it in the tomorrow class. Okay, fine guys, so that's it for the day. So practice all the examples whatever is solved today, so come back tomorrow. So we'll so assignments which I given yesterday, try to solve them also. Okay, and create the subsystem for that examples, like yesterday we given the assignments, right? For them, create the subsystem for them also. Okay. So try everything, so make sure that you have done the practice before you come to the tomorrow class.